Welcome, Meghan Markle.
Hi, thank you.
We're so excited to have you here for a BT First.
Yes.
So thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Oh my goodness, I'm so thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the Dove Self-Esteem Project. You were here speaking to a group of people last night, especially young people. What is it that you have to say that they should really listen to?
You know, when Dove reached out to me, it was so, as I was saying to you, it's just so easy for me to jump on board with this because their whole campaign right now for self-esteem is inspiring confidence in young women, and I think it's timely right now, the conversation of feminism and women feeling empowered, but to plant those seeds starting really young. And so, you know, last night we had a workshop talking to not just young women, but also to mentors, teachers, people that are going to be able to like cast this messaging with a wider net, so that young girls can really maximize their potential. And it feels organic and right and good, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
And when you see the reaction that you get from these people that are coming up to you after you speak to them, how does that make you feel? What kind of reaction were you getting?
I mean, talk about a self-esteem boost, right? It's just so nice because, you know, I understand that now people know me from Suits, but that is not what my whole life for the past 34 years has not been that. There's been struggles and challenges and my own battles with self-esteem. So to be able to look at my life full circle and say, not only have I been able to achieve something that I never thought would have been possible, that with this platform now I am able to really inspire people to know that they can do that too is the most humbling. It really is.
I mean, it's so interesting because we can look at you and think, what? Self-esteem issues? What are you talking about?
Come on!
So when did your seed get planted in terms of knowing that this was a very important thing, that you need to embrace your uniqueness?
Yes.
And, you know, create your own box?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my, how sweet is that? You've been reading the TIG.
That's right.
So, you know, I think for me it's been a learning curve, and obviously I've talked a little bit about like experiences I had as a child when I was 11, seeing a commercial that I thought felt sexist and doing something to change that, and having the support of my parents and also people around me. I think when we talked about this, touched on it too, like being biracial, or for me, like having a sense of self that sometimes felt a little displaced, and so as opposed to turtling with that, to say, what can I do about this so I can find a place where I fit in, so I can find or shape the world around me, so that even if I am not exactly able to check one specific box, that I can make my own box. Right?
Absolutely. And that's also led you to become a women's advocate for the UN for political participation and leadership.
Yes.
Congratulations. That is a huge thing.
I know.
Is that something that you'd always kind of dreamt of, or?
I mean, in my wildest dreams, I never thought that that would actually come to fruition. And when UN Women reached out to me last year from an article that I had written on the TIG, actually, which is my website for people who are like, what's the TIG? When they had reached out.
I like to plug there, smart businesswoman.
Yeah, right, exactly. Thank you. When they had reached out to me about it, I really was able to now maximize that opportunity. I asked them if I could go and intern at the UN headquarters, and they said, well, I don't think anyone's ever really asked us that. But they were able to get me the clearance, and I did. And,
amazing.
And yeah, just talk about a game changer. It's been pretty spectacular this past year.
So what is the one message that you really want young women and women in general to just, you know, really focus on as they navigate through life?
Yeah, I think there are a couple things, you know, for me, and I remind myself and my friends of that as well, is that we just need to be kinder to ourselves, truly. You know, if we treated ourselves the way we do our best friend,
or our dogs.
Yeah, or our dogs. Can you, for you and I especially, like, can you imagine how much better off we would be to just say, can sometimes be so judgmental and unkind, and so I think I would never treat my best friend that way. So to treat yourself like you're your own best friend, and to also just like try to find a space inside of you that it reminds yourself that yes, you can have questions of self-doubt, and that's going to come up, that's human, but at the end of the day, you are enough exactly as you are, I think is really important to remind ourselves of.
That is a very important message. Thank you so much, Meghan Markle.
Oh my gosh,
so good to see you.
You too.
For more information on Meghan and the Dove Self-Esteem Project, head on over to breakfasttelevision.ca.
In addition to television interviews and her very own self-esteem workshop for the 2015 Dove campaign, Meghan also participated in several print media interviews here in Canada. These are some of the questions the Duchess was asked at the time and how she replied. Why do you think it's important to build girls' self-esteem? We want our girls to grow up knowing their worth. When they have that sense of confidence, they excel in academics, in relationships, and extracurricular. Knowing their value dictates the choices they make. How did you work through some of your own self-esteem battles? I had amazing teachers in school who could see what I was going through and who bolstered my self-esteem by telling me how valuable I was. Does working in Hollywood sometimes bring out insecurities? Of course, we are human, and as women, we have to combat societal pressures every day. I often worry that I can't live up to the character people associate me with. Fans see me on the street, and I haven't had 2 hours of hair and makeup, and I'm not in a custom-tailored Tom Ford outfit with a team of stylists adjusting me every few moments. Who can live up to that? So yes, I have moments where I worry if people are disappointed when they meet the real me versus Rachel. But I have to remind myself that what we see on TV is aspirational and generally unachievable, even for me, who is actually playing that character. How do you work through it? I regroup and remind myself that who I am has absolutely nothing to do with that character or that image. I am whole and complete exactly as I am, even when covered in dog hair, at the park, walking my pooches with no makeup on. What is the best advice you've ever received about learning to love yourself? Be kind to yourself. Truly, if we treated ourselves as well as we treated our best friends, we would be a million miles ahead of the game. Speaking of best friends, how do yours support you? They are my anchor. My industry can really rock your sense of normalcy. You can put up a picture on Instagram and in the same span of comments have someone tell you they love you and another tell you they hate you. Have one tell you that you look fat and the other mention that you're too skinny. It is really nice to come home and call my girlfriends who support me through all of it and tell me the truth. Now that's squad goals. In hearing her answers, I think you'll agree that Meghan was exactly the same person then, before even meeting Prince Harry, as she remains today. So with that in mind, let's hear a little more from the Duchess at the workshop she hosted for Dove.
Social media is another place where you're very active.
Yes.
And where sometimes it's a kind of an open door for negativity. So how do you handle that, and how do you make sure that you don't let it get to you, you know?
I will be honest, it's hard, and I think, there's only more scrutiny the larger your following is or anything else like that, and so I have these moments where I'm on my Instagram and, you have to remind yourself that it's all just noise. At the end of the day, like, you have your own sense of self and purpose independent of what anyone else is saying. Because for as many people, for example, on my Instagram that say they love me, they're the people that run in and tell me how much they hate me, or they don't like my face, or my freckles are dumb, or whatever you're going to say.
Yeah.
But look, I'm human. So there are times where I'm reading it and I will chime in and go, hey, real person here.
That hurts
like,
me.
Please, I would kindly just unfollow me.
Yeah,
Because I would really prefer that you're not being that negative, because it does make an impact. And I think, for any of us, to just remember that as removed as social media can seem, where you're like, oh, I'm just at my screen or on my phone, I'm just putting this stuff out and it doesn't land somewhere. It does. And it lands in a place that can sometimes be hurtful.
On a human.
Yeah. So that's something I'm really aware of, and I think that it's just important to be as positive and supportive as we can in that space, and the messaging that I try to put out there with the TIG as well is just something that's positive, inspirational.
Yeah.
To keep it there. Just, breathe in the good stuff.
Yeah.
Breathe out all the negativity.
Number one song to pick you up.
Oh my gosh, I was just listening to it before I left, and it's so random, you're not going to believe it. It's a Nina Simone song, and it's called, How It Feels to Be Free.
Oh,
it's
I don't
so
know it.
good. I love
Okay,
it
I'll
so
look that up for sure. We did that. Number one beauty rule.
Drink lots of water and smile.
And smile. Last vacation where you did not want to leave ever.
Turks and Caicos. Could go back in a moment. Yes, it was amazing.
Fiercest female character on TV.
Olivia Pope.
One co-star you would love to work with again.
Abigail Spencer, who we share birthday. So yes, we call each other birthday soul sisters. Love her. I will work with her again.
Someone you haven't worked with but you'd like to work with.
Maya Rudolph.
Prince William or Prince Harry?
I don't know.
Harry.
Harry? Sure.
Dogs or cats? I feel like I know the answer to this.
Bogart and Guy would be really bummed if I said cats. I'm going with dogs.
Hidden talent.
I used to be a calligrapher. That's how I paid my bills.
No way.
Yeah. I did Robin Thicke and Paula Patton's wedding. I did tons of celebrity correspondence.
That is
I would
so
sit there with
cool.
a white tube sock on my hand doing calligraphy.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Last concert you saw?
Elton John for his AIDS benefit in New York last year. It was amazing.
Last but not least, eat in or go out?
Eat in.
Eat in.
I love to cook, so yes. Stay in your cozies, have some nice wine, make yourself a nice meal. So much better.
And that's that. We hope you heard some of it.
Us.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Megan, so much. And we're looking forward to watching the Self-Esteem workshop right now.
Yes.
And
It's gonna be great. Thanks,
it's gonna
guys.
be great. Have a good night.